Welcome to my show, Secrets of a Personal Trainer, Unfiltered. My name is Cornelia Dura. I'm your show host. I'm also a former IFBB World Champion, a personal trainer in my gym Fit and Fight in Pompano Beach, Florida, and I'm also an economist. Let's get started with your transformation right now. Episode 33, 600 pounds and hospitalized. So last week I was personal training Lisa, who is a client of mine now for 1.5 years or something like that. She wanna really lose some weight. And we are Nordic walking together. She works out, and she's not a person where she loves to work out and is counting the hours while she is allowed to enter the gym. No, she's not. She's booking personal training because she knows it's good for her and it's healthy. So the passion is not really there. That's why she books personal training. That's why I'm on her side. So we are talking in between the workouts when we are resting for the 30, 40 seconds in between. And somehow we got to that topic of obesity and obese people. One of my previous clients had a surgery done for the stomach. And he asked after 2 years if he's allowed to come back because I just gave up on him. We tried 3 times. He lost 50 pounds with me and he always went back to the old habits. And I said, you know what, till you are not really ready, don't spend the money at Fit and Fight. You have to find a way on your own. Whenever you are really ready, you come back to Fit and Fight and we will work through it. But I need your mindset to be ready. And now he went through his surgery. He lost now 50 pounds and now he's ready. And he called me if he can come back. He was 410 pounds and we are starting now with 360 pounds. By the way, he was already down to 320 pounds with me. But whatever, it doesn't matter. He is now, I think, ready. So, and then we talk about that. I share that with Lisa, that I'm happy that he is coming back and he will start the next week to work out. And Lisa was a nurse here in South Florida. And she had an experience, what she shared then with me, what I thought it's worth to make a podcast from it. So when she was working in the hospital, she saw things what normally you don't see or you don't hear when you are from outside when a patient is 600 pounds. So normally I always talk on my own the whole time while we do a podcast, but I was bugging Lisa very hard to share the story on her own because it's different when somebody was there and somebody experienced it than when I just talk about the case. So today I had to push her to the microphone because she does not like to talk that much officially. And I said, wait a moment, it's just a podcast. There is no problem. And she's here. So Lisa, welcome to my podcast, Secrets of a Personal Trainer. And I hope you will share one secret, what you saw, what you heard when this 600-pound woman was hospitalized here in South Florida. Welcome first to my show, Lisa.
Thank you.
So, what happened there? You were a nurse. What did you do in that hospital?
I was a registered nurse case manager.
So what is that?
Planning and making sure they had their needs met when they went home.
Oh, okay. And then you were consulted when this 600-pound person should go home, or how did that work?
Yes, along with social workers. We were called into the case right away when the patient was admitted, so we could get background and found out, where the patient lived before and what was going on now with their home life.
Yes.
And why they were brought to the hospital.
Right. So why did she have to go to the hospital?
Basically, she got multiple skin infections and, from overlapping skin on skin, and it, fevers and things like that brought her to the hospital. But in reality, they had lost their apartment, the husband and wife, and had no place to go. And so they were brought in.
You are kidding me. they had to go to the hospital because they lost their place.
Happens a lot.
I never heard that.
Yes.
Oh my God. So she went to the hospital and then she had 600 pounds. Now, you have to just imagine 600 pounds is like, I don't think you can really imagine how that looks like. This person could not walk, could not eat herself, could not move arms, could not poop and pee on her own. You cannot imagine. These are things, normal things, what everybody is doing. Let's say you have 50 or 80 pounds too much, you still go to the restroom, you can still go whenever you want to, you can get up, you prepare your food, you can do everything what you want to do. When you have 600 pounds, nothing of this is available to you. So this person is just in bed, is that correct?
Yes, their husband taking care of her, who is very frail and thin. And
now, how can that be that a husband is skinny, in good shape, and then is married and allows that the wife looks like that? I don't get that.
he brings her all the food, and he's very devoted. He was very devoted to her.
Devoted to what? To kill her? Or what was he devoted to? I don't get that. What did you see there?
And caring for her and loving her.
With the 600, but he loves her to death.
Yes.
He loves her to death
Basically.
because feeding her, how was that with the food, lunch and dinner in the hospital with her?
In the hospital, of course, she was on a controlled calorie diet,
Uh-huh.
and the husband would sneak in chips and
No.
salt, snack foods. You'd see it all over in the drawers.
No.
Yes, they had to keep removing it, and all the time he was an enabler.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to imagine for people who have 600 pounds, food is a drug. It's heroin. It's pure heroin or fentanyl or whatever you can imagine. That's how dependent they are on that. So this is just horrible. How long was she in the hospital altogether? Do you remember that?
Not exactly, but it was at least 2 months, I think a little longer.
So now comes the American question. Did she have health insurance?
No, did not have health insurance, and that's why it was a county hospital. They have to be admitted there, and it's, some of the funds come from the federal government.
So now we put one and one together. It's a county hospital who should be ready for seriously ill people who have cancer, who tried everything in their lives and they got sick anyway. And maybe you have financial problems and then the county or the government is helping you to get over this. Now this person is in for 2 months without health insurance. Now make a guess, as a listener, make a guess who is paying for her bill. Who is paying for her bill? So you are, and I am, and Lisa, you are, and everybody else around, we are all paying the 2-month hospital bill. So if that's okay with you, good for you. It's not with me, I can tell you. This is so unfair. This is just so unfair. And why did they lose their apartment?
He can't work. He has to take care of her full time.
Oh my God.
Of course, she can't work, and they ran out of funds.
This is crazy. This is just crazy. Makes me so upset because I work my butt off to be able to pay for my health insurance, which is not cheap, I can tell you. And if you are here, you know that health insurance in the United States is never cheap. By the way, in Germany, it's not cheap either. So wherever you go, health insurance is a lot of money. You have to work to be able to support yourself in healthcare and all that. So that somebody goes kind of bankrupt, loses everything, and then you are ending up in a hospital, and then we all, taxpayers, we have to pay for that. It's just so unfair. It's just so unfair. Now, after 2 months, do you remember how many pounds she lost just around?
She got close to 300 a little over 300 pounds.
Okay, so half the body size.
So she could be starting a discharge process.
Okay, how did that look like?
We try to find a place for them to go that's very low rent. We finally found a place that would take her, and they had to make accommodations in the house. The doorways had to be changed, widened. The furniture had to be specially built. So
who paid that?
The hospital had to pay all that to ensure a safe discharge. And that was had to be done before the person renting the apartment would accept her.
You know, here is something you need to think about that. Now they are moving into a place with a low rent. Everything has to be redone, and we taxpayers have to pay for that. You know, I'm a capitalist, otherwise I would not have immigrated to the United States. And I really like to help people who cannot afford something. I really do. I help a lot of people, also financially. But this is when my purse would close so fast. You have no idea. I could never. This is just so unfair to others who are working hard and doing everything they can so they can save up money. And then we have to pay for something like that. This is just, for me, very, very upsetting. By the way, where I live here in Margate, there's also a neighbor. He lost now 250 pounds. He had also a surgery done. He is not working now for 3 years. And he looks much better. He is very happy. And I said, so what is your occupation? And he said, he is a cook. I'm like, you are a cook, so you know what to cook and what to eat. Yes, I do. And I feel now great. But I'm still not able to work. I'm like, you are now 2 years home, and I see you fishing every morning when I leave to work. You're already out on the dock fishing. And I have to tell you, I'm a little bit upset because I have to work 6 days a week, and I have to save up money to be able to pay my rent and to pay into my retirement account. And you are just hanging out there. Now you lost the weight and you are fishing every day. And then I even heard that you were on vacation for 10 days, what really closed me down inside, because I can just go on vacation for 5 days in a year because I have to work so much. And you are hanging out here. And especially, this should not make a big thing, but on your car there is this Trump sign. What's really even upsetting me more, because that does not fit to what you are talking about. So what are you voting for when I support your vacation with my taxpayer money? What is wrong with you? What is just wrong with you? And since then, we are not talking to each other. So as you can imagine, I'm just, you know what? Here I'm a capitalist. This is not how it works. It cannot be that I can see that you take the surgery, you are off for a couple of months while you are losing the weight, and you try hard. Perfect. I completely stand behind you. But the time is coming. You put your shit together and you start working. You just start working. They are working. You don't have to stand for 12 hours. There are other places where you can work. You can start making money. This is just so unfair to people. So this is how the podcast works. Here's the client of mine, cannot say a word anymore because I got so upset about all that. So Lisa is just smiling here. She knows me. And there's one more topic what I want to touch, because I don't know why, but there was a share how these people have sex, and I thought this needs to be said. How does these obese people have sex? You need to share that, because this is somebody cannot imagine. How did they have sex?
Well, the social worker was able to, it's one of the questions they have to ask in their questionnaire. And they did find out that they do have sex routinely, and it's within multiple skin folds, and could have caused some of the infections that she was brought in with.
Can you imagine that? Can you just imagine that? It's just, you don't know what to say. And then how are they peeing and pooping when they have 600 pounds? How does that work?
Bedpans, yeah.
Both of them?
Oh,
number 1 and number 2?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And who's cleaning that up? Who is able to clean that up?
I think the husband was unable to do it anymore. So at the hospital, there was maintenance men we had to call in to turn her every 2 hours. And sometimes, and then as we went along, it was every 4 hours because it's just impossible.
They cannot even turn themselves.
No, they'd be turning with a sheet.
Oh my God!
And
just
raised a little bit and put bottles under.
So this is what we need to think about in this country, because there's a lot of these very, very obese people. It's not just like 2 or 3 in the whole United States. We have a lot of these people. Where do we start? We need to think about healthcare system. We need to think about how to deal with that, because it's completely unfair to normal Americans who pay their health insurances. Completely unfair that they pay for this. We need to get started thinking what we are doing. Otherwise, the food industry with all that shit food, and you get really addicted to shit food, like this heavy fried, processed, highly processed food. You get completely addicted to that. I tell you, I'm a sugar addict. I know what I'm talking about. I fight also every day. Even it doesn't look like that. I have the fight every day. Sometimes I win. Most of the times I win, otherwise I would not be in shape. But sometimes there is like 70% winning and 30% losing. The 30% is when I cannot withstand the sugar and I need to have chocolate. So this is with food exactly the same. So we need to think about what we are putting into our mouth, what we are eating. This is very, very important. Lisa, thank you for sharing this. I know you are not a person who likes to really talk here on podcasts and on TV or on radio, on live shows, but thank God this is not live. This is a podcast, so I can still cut and adjust, but I will not do anything because this was perfect. Reboot Your Health today. Today is the day to get started. Think about obesity and what we can do, or if somebody is in your family obese, where we can get started with something healthy.